Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of a predictions video on the channel. Today, this is an interesting one because we are talking all things, not only Coke 600, but Indy 500 as well. Of course, I'm in my hotel right now, just outside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm getting set for that, so no live commentary for tonight's Coke 600 race. So that's why I have the predictions for you right here, right now. We'll talk all things fantasy as usual. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into the rest of this video. Starting off with the Coke 600 with this race today, and we're going to talk about some drivers who I don't think are going to run particularly well that you should stay away from in your fantasy lineups later tonight. First and foremost, we'll start off with Joey Legato. Legato has noticeably been slower than the other two Penske cars when it comes to mile-and-a-half racetracks this season. His finishes on the mile-and-a-halfs in the points-paying races are 17th and 14th. And he wasn't very fast yesterday either. He qualified 23rd, which was far worse from where Cindric and Blaney were in qualifying. And he was 10th in practice, but he was also behind Cindric and Blaney again. Cindric was top 5 in practice. Blaney was top 10 ahead of Joey Logano as well. So not looking great for Joey Logano and Joey Logano fans this weekend. He has not been great at Charlotte in recent years either. In the last 8 points races at Charlotte, Joey Logano only has 2 top 10. So be sure to stay away from Joey Logano this weekend. He's had some good runs this year from time to time, but it doesn't seem like the intermediate tracks are where his bread and butter has been this season. Kevin Harvick is someone you want to stay away from as well. And pretty much entirety of SHR, they were very, very slow yesterday in practice and qualifying. All of them were outside the top 20 in practice, 21st, 24th, 25th, and 30th. Harvick was actually 30th in practice yesterday. And then in qualifying, they were all 15th or worse for their starting positions for the Coke 600 today of 15th, 18th, 21st, and 24th. Kevin Harvick had actually qualified in the 18th position, so not looking very fast. He is really good at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the oval and in the Coke 600, especially in recent years, but this week in particular, not looking great. His stats on the mile-and-a-halfs this year, if you include the All-Star race as well, in the 3 mile-and-a-halfs, has all been outside the top 10 on finishes. So bare minimum, that's kind of the same thing with Logano. I don't think they're going to finish in the top 10 today. I think you should stay away from both Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano. 2 dark horse picks who I think you should absolutely have in your lineup today, or at least consider to have in your lineup today. We're going to start off with Ricky Stonehouse Jr. Ricky Stonehouse Jr. has 3 straight top 10s in points-paying races, and in fact, in the All-Star race, he actually led every lap of Stage 1 and quickly advanced into the All-Star race as well. So he is on an absolute hot streak right now when it comes to speed underneath the hood of that 47 Kroger Chevrolet. Now, coming into today's race, he has actually ran really, really well in the Coke 600 in recent years outside of the success he has had in recent weeks as well. 12th, 4th, 5th, and 10th in the last 4 Coke 600 for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s, and no finish worse than 12th in the last 4 races, both with Roush Fenway Racing at the time and, of course, now JTG Doherty Racing over the last couple of seasons. 12 of the last 14 races at Charlotte, he has finished in the top 15. That is really good for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fans. Obviously, that would include the fall races in the oval, the 2 races we ran in the COVID times in the oval as well. So he has been very, very consistent at Charlotte. Probably his best mile-and-a-half on the circuit. Stenhouse, not a bad pick today. Kirk Bush, he just won on a mile-and-a-half last week. I think he's going to have a shot to win this week. He qualified very, very well. Was actually fastest in the first round. Ended up not quite backing it up. Actually, he did pick up a little bit, but Denny Hamlin picked up just a bit more by 3/1000ths of a second to out-qualify him for the pole for the Coke 600. But at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, I think he is going to run really well. Him and Bubba Wallace looked fast yesterday, and they were fast last week, so I think the 2311 Toyotas in general just looked fast yesterday. I mean, obviously Hamlin was on the pole. Kyle Busch was fastest in practice as well. Look out for the Toyotas again this weekend. It is another mile-and-a-half. That seems to be their strong suit this season. Kirk Busch, I think it's going to be a good pick. He led over 100 laps, won a stage, won the race at Kansas. On ovals at Charlotte as well, or on the Charlotte Oval configuration for points-paying races, in the last 15 starts, he has actually finished in the top 10 11 times. So Kirk Busch has been pretty good there. I think he'll be pretty good tomorrow as well. Guaranteed top 10 is what I am guaranteeing, at least out of both Stenhouse and Kirk Busch. Now it's time to get into picks who I think not only are going to win tonight's race, but two picks in particular that I think are going to either contend for the win or at the least they're going to run top 10 all day. They're going to score a lot of points for you. And that is going to be some guaranteed picks that you should have these two guys in your lineup. We're going to start off with Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott has had 7 top 5 finishes in his last 9 Charlotte starts, if you include the All-Star race twice there as well. One win in 2020 in a points-paying race as well. It was the second race after they came back from COVID at Charlotte. At least it was that midweek race where I believe it was only like 350 miles, but he still got the win there. It was very fast in the Coke 600 that year. Also was leading late until caution came out, decided to pit. Still came back to finish in second place in that race, so that's his best finish of the Coca-Cola 600. 13 finishes of 8th or better in his career at Charlotte, and that's if you include all-star races, points races, it doesn't matter. 8th or better 13 times out of 18. Pretty good statistics for Chase Elliott fans. I'm very high on him for today's race. Obviously, he's good on the oval. He seems to be good on the oval as well, so go for Chase Elliott tonight. I think he'll have a good run. He wasn't that fast in qualifying and practice, so that's not concerning to me because the other Hendrick Chevys were pretty fast. I think they'll probably rely more on speed, like Byron was fast in practice and qualifying. Bowman was too, so I think the other Hendrick Chevys were probably trying. Larson was fastest in practice too. He's got to start at the rear, but I think they will be fast. They have been noticeably fast in the Coke 600 the last couple of years, and of course Jimmy Johnson always dominated this race for the longest time too. They know how to find speed at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I wouldn't worry. I think Chase Elliott's going to have a good run. Kyle Busch is my win pick for today's Coca-Cola 600, and he is definitely somebody you should have in the lineup today. I think noticeably he has had more speed on the mile and a half than any other driver this season, especially one that doesn't have a win on a mile and a half this season. 4th and 3rd in the only points-paying races. Texas last week, he led every lap of Stage 1, qualified on the pole. It pretty much led every lap until he blew that tire, causing that wreck at like lap 37, 36, whatever that was. So he had speed, obviously, last week and also had speed on the other 2 races. Of course, 2 weeks ago, he won a stage at Kansas as well as finishing 3rd. 4th at Las Vegas earlier this season. I mentioned he was fastest in practice yesterday. He was fastest in his session in practice. He was actually 6th overall in practice, but qualified in the 4th place position. So obviously pretty good there. He won the Coke 600 in 2018, so not that long ago. That was actually the last race that they had in the Coca-Cola 600 with a low downforce package. So here we are with the next-gen car, a low downforce package. I do think that that's going to bear well for Kyle Busch as well as the practice of qualifying this season that we've had. He's noticeably ran better with it than what he has the last couple years. So I'm very high on Kyle Busch today. He is my pick to win tonight's race. He has 9 top 10 finishes and 6 podiums in the last 11 Charlotte starts as well. Just that one win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Coke 600 a few years ago. He is an all-star race winner as well in 2017, but those are his only 2 wins of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but I think he gets his 3rd tomorrow, or tonight, I guess. So that is that pick. Now it's time for the Indy 500 picks. 3 drivers in particular I was looking at statistically, both in recent years and just ovals in all of the month of May. They've had speed that I think are going to be your contenders for the win today. And I'm just going to throw out there, Jimmy Johnson, he is definitely my number 1 pick in my heart. He is not my number 1 pick, but I do think he will be fast, and under the right circumstances, I think he could have a shot to win. He was actually top 6 in practice in 5 of the 9 practice sessions they've had in the month of May for the Indy 500, and he qualified 12th, so not bad. So I think he is definitely going to be competitive. He finished 6th at Texas a few weeks ago on the only oval start he's had in IndyCar as well, so look out for Jimmy Johnson. I think he'll have a good run. Very good dark horse pick, and his odds are like 16-1, so not bad there. Last I checked, at least it was 16-1. It was 18-1 at one point, so I'm definitely high on Jimmy Johnson as far as the odds go. But somebody else who I'm even higher on that is actually my pick to win odds-based wise is Takuma Sato. I think he is going to win his 3rd Indy 500 tomorrow, and I think his 3rd in the last like five years. I think 2017 was his first one. So he has definitely been really good at Indy in recent years. Even the races he hasn't won, I think he finished 2nd in 2nd to Castroneves last year. Yeah, that's right. So I mean, it's definitely looking pretty good for him. I do think he is going to win the race. Again, 16-1 odds, pretty good as well. Not to bet at least. But anyway, outside of that, his oval finishes, he is one of only 4 drivers who have won an oval race within the last 3 seasons. Joseph Newgarden, Takuma Sato, Will Power, and Scott Dixon are the only 4. And Sato, most of the time it's at Indianapolis, so I think that bears well, obviously, specifically for this race. So he was very fast all through the month of May in practice as well. Him and Scott Dixon were a lot higher in practice on a consistent basis than Jimmy Johnson. As far as consistency goes, Will Power was kind of around that Jimmy Johnson range as well, but gonna look at Takuma Sato. He's my pick to win the Indy 500 today. So kind of a long shot, but not really. I mean, he qualified top 10, and he's had speed in practice. I don't know why the odds makers have him at 16-1. And I think there's like 8 or 9 guys who are more favored than him, and he's won the race in recent years too. So definitely going with him. Rick Ware Racing, I believe, is where he is running this season in the 51, if I'm not mistaken. So that'd be a big win for them, and he is my pick. Scott Dixon, I think, is going to run well. I really bounce back and forth between Scott Dixon and Takuma Sato on my pick. The reason why I didn't go with Dixon, he's had a lot of bad luck in recent years in the Indy 500, and I hate to rely on bad luck being the side of why I don't pick a particular driver. But at the end of the day, the team has to get it done. If the driver is doing everything he can and the team is still letting him down, at the end of the day, if the driver doesn't get the finish at the end of the race, it's his name that, I guess, takes the blame for it more often than not. So if he has any other pick-true mistakes or an untimely caution like we happen to see in recent years when he's not in the lead or makes a stop, whatever the case is, that could obviously come into play as well today. So I'm just going to lean with Takuma Sato. I feel more confident in that pick, despite the fact that Dixon has most notably had more speed than any other driver this year. He is the hands-on favorite. He's on the pole as well. I do think it would not be surprising if Scott Dixon won by any means. I wanted to pick him, but just luck has a bet on his side. So I'm going to go with Takuma Sato because he's had a lot of luck at Indy in recent years. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, and I'll see you guys next time.